In the early 18th century, the lower Mississippi Valley was a hotbed of conflict. French settlers, eager to expand their colony of Louisiana, had established Fort Rosalie in 1716 on the lands of the powerful Natchez people. At first, a fragile peace existed between the two groups, but beneath the surface, resentment simmered. The Natchez had long controlled the region, thriving on fertile lands and trading with neighboring tribes. The French, however, viewed them as subjects rather than allies. They demanded land for tobacco plantations and imposed their own laws. Though some Natchez leaders cooperated, others saw the settlers as invaders encroaching on their ancestral home. Tensions escalated when Governor Etienne Perrier, desperate for more land, ordered the Natchez to vacate a prime section of their territory near Fort Rosalie. The demand was an insult, a blatant disregard for their sovereignty. The Natchez, angered but strategic, did not immediately act. Instead, they prepared. By late 1729, secret meetings were held among the Natchez leaders. They knew that a direct confrontation with the French military could be disastrous. But if they struck swiftly, catching the settlers by surprise, they could reclaim their lands and push the invaders out for good. The stage was set for one of the bloodiest uprisings in colonial America. The Natchez were ready to rise. The French had no idea what was coming. On the morning of November 29th, 1729, the Natchez launched their long-planned attack. Under the guise of peaceful trade, warriors entered Fort Rosalie carrying weapons hidden beneath their cloaks. The French, unaware of the impending danger, went about their daily routines. Then, at an agreed-upon signal, chaos erupted. The Natchez struck with deadly precision, attacking French soldiers and settlers alike. Muskets roared, arrows flew, and war cries filled the air. The fort's defenses crumbled almost instantly. The French, caught completely off guard, had no time to organize a resistance. Within hours, more than 230 men lay dead, their homes burned, their families taken captive. For the Natchez, this was more than a military victory. It was a statement. They had reclaimed their land, sending a clear message that they would not be subjugated. But while the attack was a stunning success, the Natchez knew retaliation would come. Word of the massacre reached New Orleans, where Governor Perrier wasted no time rallying French forces. He called upon allied tribes, including the Choctaw, longtime rivals of the Natchez. The French had lost Fort Rosalie, but they were determined to reclaim it, no matter the cost. As French warships sailed up the Mississippi and soldiers prepared for a brutal campaign, the Natchez fortified their villages, ready to make their final stand. In the months following the Natchez attack on Fort Rosalie, the French launched a relentless campaign of retribution. Determined to crush the uprising, Governor Perrier assembled a powerful force, enlisting both French soldiers and Choctaw warriors, traditional enemies of the Natchez. By early 1730, French troops, supported by their native allies, surrounded the main Natchez stronghold. The Natchez, though fierce warriors, were vastly outnumbered and outgunned. They fought with incredible bravery, using the terrain to their advantage, but French artillery pounded their defenses day and night. After weeks of siege, the Natchez, realizing they could not hold out forever, attempted to negotiate. Some groups managed to escape into the wilderness, but many were captured. Hundreds of men, women, and children were taken as prisoners. The French, eager to make an example of them, enslaved the survivors, shipping many to the Caribbean to work on plantations. By 1731, the once powerful Natchez civilization was shattered. Their villages were destroyed, their people scattered. Some survivors found refuge among other tribes, but the Natchez as a distinct nation ceased to exist. The fall of the Natchez marked a turning point in French colonial history. It demonstrated the brutal lengths European powers would go to in order to maintain control over their American territories. But it also revealed the fierce resistance of indigenous nations who refused to surrender their land without a fight. Though Fort Rosalie was rebuilt, the echoes of the battle lingered. The land, once home to a proud and powerful people, now bore the scars of conquest, a reminder of a war that history nearly forgot.